show is sponsored, of course, by Syntex Tank and Hunters. Coming up over the next 60 minutes, the Black Stars' journey to the 2026 World Cup will begin in November. And they've been grouped against teams they have struggled to beat in the last year. We'll take a look at that draw and also talk about the Black Queens. They, on the other hand, have no problems beating teams whatsoever under their new coach, Nora Hapto. They started their Paris 2024 journey on Friday by beating Guinea 3-0. The return leg is on Tuesday. We'll look at how she's managed to turn a team that has struggled into a winning side and how long can they go in that qualifying series. Then we'll take a look at transfers, and a lot of them have been happening in the last few months. Andre Onana to Man United, what's going on? Rasmus Højlund to United, what's going on? Captain Harry Maguire's armband is being stripped of him. Why? We will talk about that. Chelsea's off to pre-season. I had a look at the squad. My hands were on my head. I can't believe it. It doesn't look like a competitive squad at all. Declan Rice has signed a 5-year deal with Arsenal. What does he bring to that team? There's a lot to talk about in the transfers, and today we'll dedicate an awful lot of time on that here on the show. We'll wrap up with some athletics as key athletes around the world are shaping up for the World Championships in Budapest next month. And of course, we'll conclude definitely with some tennis where a 20-year-old shocked a veteran at Wimbledon. The show is live and interactive on social media, so do get in touch with us. Okay, use the hashtag SportsZone on Twitter. The hashtag SportsZone on Twitter. Leave your messages there, your thoughts, your opinions on everything we'll be talking about here. I welcome on that hashtag. Hashtag it's SportsZone once again. Or you can tweet at me personally at Fentio_. If you prefer WhatsApp, the number is 0551 575757. 0551 575757. Sending your thoughts, I'll share them with the rest of our viewers from across the globe. Wherever you're tuning in from, good evening and welcome to the show. We'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back. This is SportsZone on Joy Prime. My name is Fentio Tahiri Fentio. Thanks a lot for staying with us. The show is sponsored by Syntex Tank, and whatever your preferred color or size, Syntex Tank has it. Whatever your water needs are, Syntex Tank has you covered. They have you covered, okay? And they have over 300 outlets and agents across the country. So if you want to install any water tank of any type at your home, look no further than Syntex Tank, of course. Syntex Tank, they sorted me out a few weeks ago, and I'm very grateful. So also get yourself Syntex Tank. Nice colors, everything. They've got everything. Also sponsored by Hunters, and when you take that nice lady out, insist that they try Hunters, because trust me, I'm sure after that, nothing else will matter. So Hunters, another quality product, of course, from Casa Preku Company Limited, also being proud sponsors of this show. My guests tonight are my two favorite people, Sijofe Philip Achrim and Daniel Cranton. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You all right?
Yep.
Daniki?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go.
You're ready? You're ready?
No time to waste.
Shami, you are too serious.
No, the producer sent me the outline today, and when I did that, I was like, this is set up properly for Danny.
I know.
So I'm not surprised he's poised.
We'll get there. Anyway, so let's begin with the World Cup draw, the qualifying draw. It was conducted in Abidjan, and Ghana were placed in Group I. This is the road to the 2026 World Cup, which will be hosted, of course, jointly by Canada, the USA, and Mexico. It will take place in the summer of 2026. The qualifying series will begin in November, and it will run all the way till at least the end of 2025. So it will take 2 years to complete. And Ghana will play 10 matches in this group. Okay, 10 games in this group. They're in a group with 5 other teams, home and away. So 10 matches. That is 30 points available for the Black Stars. So Group A, I'll just take you to the rest of the groups. Groups A, Egypt, Burkina Faso. We'll get to the Ghana group shortly. But these are the rest of the groups. Now, the groups are 9. And Africa will have 9 slots. Remember that this is the first extended World Cup. 48 teams. So Africa will get 9 slots in there. And so CAF has decided to do 9 groups. And the teams that will top each group will automatically qualify for the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Africa has a quarter of a slot, which we'll explain a little later. But this is Ghana's group. Of course, Group I, Mali, Ghana, Madagascar, Central African Republic, Comoros, and Chad. We'll talk about the other groups very briefly. But Daniel, the first thing that came to your mind when you saw this group was what?
We know them.
Familiarity. Okay. How does that help us?
The good thing is that...
Or hurt us?
No, I think it will help us. Because we've not had good results against any of them recently. Central African Republic, we struggled against them away. We drew that game 1-1. Comoros beat us in the AFCON. Madagascar, we just were held by them away from home, very disappointingly. 2 years ago, Mali beat us 3-0 in a friendly. So the good thing is that these opponents will come into the game feeling that they can get something out of it. And from the way Ghana plays their football in recent times under Chris Hughton, you would need teams to feel like they can win. Teams to feel confident and come out and play in order to get those spaces. And also for the players, from the players' point of view also, it's another opportunity for them to rewrite the wrongs of the past. Nobody was happy when we were beaten by Comoros. So it's an opportunity to get 6 points against them. And not just 6 points, 6 very good points with good goals. Properly beat
Convincing
them.
Victories.
Beat them and let them know that that one in Cameroon was a fluke. So I'm pretty confident. What scares me is our away form. It's been terrible over the past 2 years. But again, you mentioned...
What's that record like?
It's just 4 wins out of the last, I think, 19 games. It's absolutely terrible when it comes to playing away from home. But again, you spoke about the duration of the qualifiers. Yeah. We can't necessarily look at the state of Ghana football now and use to judge, because 2 years ago we were in a much better place than today. And this is Ghana. We can only hope that things will get better, and by the time we get to 2025, the boys will cook good.
Chicho, what would be the key to qualifying from this group?
Obviously, the first thing you think about is to win all your home games, but the most important thing would be to pick as many points as you can.
Away from home.
Sometimes even about 50% away from home. It's crucial. That's why when Danny mentioned that he's not impressed with our recent away record, it can frighten you as a Ghanaian, really. But yeah, I think Danny says we know them, but they know us because they played against us as well. So we know each other, if you like. Yeah. I don't think they'll be naive. I don't think they'll be overly confident when they come up against Ghana because they've had success against us more recently. Every team on the African continent, we at home know we are not playing well, but every team on the continent respects Ghana. So when they play against Ghana, they will respect what Ghana is. Unfortunately for us, we are not playing well. We've not played well for the last 2 years or so.
Sure.
And even under Chris Hughton, he had a job. Every single time he's gone onto the pitch, it's been a competitive game. So he's barely had time to even try things. He's always had to go in there and try to win. So it's a problem. And that is where I think the fear is going to be. Even when we've played in Ghana at home, we've not been convincing. We've been able to manage games here and there. But one thing will be crucial when you play in the qualifiers. We need character. Because we'll have a lot of bad games for sure. You go away to Comoros, it will be difficult. You go away to Chad, it might be difficult. You go away to Madagascar, it could be difficult. But you need the personality, you need the personality, the character to be able to grind results. When you want to qualify for the World Cup, you don't need to win every game. You don't need to play nice in every game. What you need to do is to find the results. Dig in deep, find it anyhow. One good header, one shot from anywhere. And these are the characters that we need from our play. Because at the moment, we are not playing well. As Danny said, it's over a 2-year period. The team can get better, but it could also get worse. So as Ghanaian, you're only hoping for the best from the qualifiers.
All right, so that's the bottom line. And we can't say this enough. Qualifying for the World Cup is not dependent on Ghana beating Mali. It's dependent on Ghana beating all the other countries, because guaranteed Mali will beat them. The only way that the result between Ghana and Mali will become critical is if we also beat the other teams, because Mali are one of those teams that absolutely has no respect for the other team. They'll go there and get results. And then when it comes down to Ghana and Mali, then it becomes important. But you can end up beating Mali and still not qualify. Then at the end of the day, you would have done a very, very useless job.
How is it possible that when we had the World Cup was going to be expanded into a 48 competition, and I think it was, and Africa was going to get automatically 9 slots. I don't know about you guys or anybody watching. My thinking was, surely Ghana will always qualify.
And then
here we are.
Yeah.
There's a draw, and the format means that it's possible that you might even miss out, even though.
And this qualifying format is very similar to the format we saw in the 2006 World Cup qualifiers. There were 5 teams in the group at the time. You top the group, you automatically are going to the qualifiers. That was the same situation in 2010. 2014, it was changed, an additional playoff round was added. Then in that format remained for the 20. In fact, that format was scrapped for 2018. 2018, it was top your group and qualify. Ghana didn't top the group, Egypt did, and then they qualified. Then in 2022, they added the playoff round again. So CAF just keeps chopping and changing the qualification format every now and then. But yeah, guaranteed, it's not going to be easy. But trust me, everybody will be praying that Ghana qualifies for this World Cup, because this is the World Cup for the streets. This is the World Cup. Do it for the streets, because everybody wants to go to America and Canada. Let me do a quick run through the rest of the groups, and I just ask Daniel and Sicho who they fancy will qualify from each group. Let's begin with the Group A, B, and C, and then see which teams they fancy will qualify from those groups. Group A, Egypt, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia, Djibouti. Daniel.
Let me just do ABC. Okay. Egypt will qualify, Senegal, Nigeria.
So all the teams in Pot A will automatically qualify. Going by that, it looks like in every group, the Pot A teams will qualify. Let's go to the next 3 groups. Switch away. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be between Egypt and Burkina Faso.
Actually fancy Burkina.
Yeah, I'm looking
at character. That's
yes, and Burkina Faso, as we said, can go away, and but so it's going to be very close between them. I don't think Senegal will have too many problems in their group.
Yeah,
Nigeria can sometimes implode themselves. Nigeria can at home lose 2 games, away from home drop some points from winning positions. So yeah, maybe. And South Africa are not also very good now, so maybe it favors Nigeria even if they slip.
What I think is, I think Nigeria will actually lose to South Africa, but they will still qualify. Yeah, because South Africans don't have it in them to go away and beat all these other countries. Absolutely. That's the problem. Anyway.
The thing is, Zimbabwe, Lesotho know South Africa very well. So between those 3 teams, they'll find
Southern African teams,
some lovely derbies there. So yeah.
Let's go to the next 3 groups and see. Group D, E, and F. Cameroon, Cape Verde, Angola, Libya, Eswatini, Mauritius. Daniel.
Again, this one will be tough, but because of character, I just think that Cameroon will get the job done.
Again, a Pot A team. Group E, Morocco, Zambia, Congo, Tanzania. This looks like the most predictable group of them all.
You don't need to ask anybody. By match day 6, you wrap the
Sijo, you don't have any contrary thoughts there?
Yeah, I think Cameroon are not brilliant, but because of the pairing that they've got, Cape Verde, Angola, Libya, I don't see who challenges them. Morocco for sure. And Cote d'Ivoire as well, they've been topsy-turvy, but I don't see who gets past them.
Daniel, what do you think of that group?
I think the Cote d'Ivoire group is tough. But again, you're talking about, look, it's a World Cup. They're a big team. They know how to handle that pressure. They have the character, they'll qualify.
Yeah, and Gabon are really poor. Probably the poorest team in Pot 2, to be honest. Let's look at Group G. Did I say G? E, F, yeah, G, H, and I. There you go. So Algeria, Guinea, Uganda, Mozambique, Botswana, and Somalia. Thoughts?
Algeria are struggling, but Guinea is not one to get a strong test. So Algeria will qualify, Tunisia will qualify, and then Ghana will qualify. What do you want me to see?
Right. You want me to see no, that's the point. You can't say Ghana won't qualify. People will meet you on the street, they will beat you.
Yeah, I think Algeria will go through, Tunisia as well, but I think in this group, Mali is the team to beat and not Ghana. So Ghana has to be beating Mali and the others to qualify.
All right, interesting. Well, those of you watching at home, let me hear from you. The hashtag is SportsZone on Twitter. What must Ghana do to qualify? Do you think Ghana has it in them to qualify? And if so, what must we do to qualify? I'm interested in your thoughts. The WhatsApp number is 0551 575757. Also on Twitter, use the hashtag SportsZone. I'll read the messages. Briefly, let me touch on the Black Queens. They have a game tomorrow against Guinea. They won that game, the first leg, by 3-0. I think there are 2 more rounds remaining, I believe. They'll play after this, then they'll play against any of the 9 other teams that were at the last Women's AFCON. So it gets tougher as it goes on. Yeah. This was them in training earlier today, getting ready That's the coach, Nora Hapsel. She's Swiss. She's been in charge for the last 4 games. They've won every single one of them. They scored 10 goals in the process. They have not conceded a single goal. Those are some of the members of her staff. Before she came, the Black Queens had won just 1 in the last 3 games, and now they are on some kind of run that is impressive. But people say the opponents haven't necessarily been strong enough. But you can only beat who is in front of you. Those other games were friendly matches. This is her first competitive game since taking charge. And so far, good progress. 3-0 in the first leg. Tomorrow, they're expected to finish the job.
The Black Stars would have been in a much more difficult position.
That's true. If they had the same teams.
Yes. So kudos to the Black Queens. You beat what's in front of you. You do it good. 3-0 in the first leg. It releases the pressure off you, and I expect them to finish.
Ghana football DNA maybe starts.
DNA is working. No, right now, I hope they're women. They should do us proud.
Yeah.
Should do us proud. They have never qualified for the Olympic Games,
they've never been
which
there.
is very strange because
they've been to 3 World Cups.
Yeah.
They haven't qualified for the Olympics.
You know, given how good they have been.
All the best to them.
So we'll see. All right, let's switch up the attention now and talk transfers. And we have a lot to talk about there, of course. And the biggest news of the day came yesterday, basically, when Captain Harry Maguire of Man United announced that he was, after a conversation with the manager, Eric Ten Hag, he was being stripped of the Man United captaincy. Now, obviously, there are massive rumors about his impending exit from the club because people say it was disrespectful, and all kinds of commentary have surrounded it. And the fact that he took to Twitter first to release a statement, this is what he wrote on Twitter. There you see, he said, after discussions with the manager today, he has informed me he's changing captain. That's the only thing that he really needs. He says the manager explained his reasons to him. And says he's personally disappointed, but he will continue to give his all every time he wears the United shirt. Daniel, people say he should leave Man United because it's disrespectful. You can't be in the dressing room and you're stripped of the captaincy. Another person will be given it. It's just toxic situation. I don't know what you think. He had not been consistent in the starting lineup, to be fair, since Ten Hag came in. But this in itself is a massive, massive move from the manager. What kind of impact will this have on the player personally and on the team overall? And do you think Maguire should stay or go?
Okay. First of all, I think this will impact more the player than the whole group.
Okay.
Do you know why?
I'm listening.
Because the entire squad knows that he shouldn't even have been captain in the first place.
Interesting.
That's a fact.
Who made him captain?
Manchester United.
Who was the manager then?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but Manchester United.
Okay,
because
no problem.
A manager can't get up and just make decisions like that.
No, I just needed to know that.
Exactly. So Ole decided, and the structure behind him backed him and said, yes, it's a very good decision. Make somebody who has never touched a trophy in his life, somebody who has never seen a final in his life, walk into a Manchester United dressing room with big figures in there and captain them. And that decision was taken. And they made it make sense. They spoke.
They justified
They justified it. So that's cool. Only for us 3 years down the line for him to be stripped of a captaincy. So that is more of a Maguire problem. I don't think it's a Man United problem because the guys in there clearly know. And you can see from their body language. There was this game Man United played 2 seasons ago against Crystal Palace away from home, where there's a transition and Maguire heads the ball back into attack and Rashford is slow coming back from an offside position. He was walking. It was during COVID, just when the COVID had ended and they were easing restrictions. So you know what, you could pick up what the players were saying. It was a viral clip. And Maguire is asking Rashford to be a bit quicker when he's coming back. And Rashford just completely cusses him out and is asking him why is he talking to him like that. And that's his captain. Yeah. That would never happen at any serious club, to any captain who his squad or his teammates respect, because it's just Maguire. You can talk to him like that and Ole can't do anything about it. But you can't talk to Bruno like that. You can't talk to David De Gea like that. You can't talk to Cristiano Ronaldo. You can't talk to Varane like that. Those are big figures. So when you make a silly decision as giving Maguire a captain after 6 months because he cost £80 million, a valuation that you created and paid, this is exactly what will happen. So that's that's a Maguire problem again. I don't think it will impact.
So his performance having helped the decision itself.
I don't even think it's about his performance. The player himself, when you are Manchester United,
he just doesn't have the personality.
He just doesn't have the personality to look at the guys in the dressing room. He can't be their captain.
Yeah.
Relax. If we are down at halftime and we come in and after Ten Hag speaks, you need somebody to talk. There's Varane sitting there, a 4-time Champions League winner and a World Cup winner. David De Gea, he's the only one who has a Premier League title among all of them. Maguire the one going to inspire
if I get you right, what you're saying is, you're not saying Maguire can't speak. You're just saying that he doesn't have enough credit.
He doesn't have enough credit
to tell other people
exactly
to step up. Okay, look, I get that.
When we are analyzing situations like this, it runs across life. It's not just a football thing.
No, that's
okay.
True. That's true.
If I'm very experienced at my job, and an intern walks in, a very promising intern, and they make him the leader, he's not going to earn my respect just because they've said he has to earn it by what he's doing. Yeah. And Maguire hasn't done anything at Man United
in his football
career to earn it. So that's a Maguire problem. Now, do I think Maguire should go? No. Maguire shouldn't go anywhere.
Why? They weren't even playing him.
No, it doesn't matter.
But he does.
Let me explain it. Maguire's competition is Lisandro Martinez.
Yes.
Varane and Lindelof.
Yes.
Varane
now he's
is almost always injured.
Okay.
So there's a chance. Lindelof has also been quite inconsistent. The only one who is guaranteed to start those games when fit all the time is Lisandro Martinez.
Okay.
So if I'm Maguire and this same club saw me 3 years ago and valued me as £80 million, the most expensive defender in the history of football, why should I look at myself and say these guys are better than me? Let me go. No, I'll stay and fight.
But he's clearly an option now.
He's an option because his form is he's not the best places. He's not in the best place when it comes to his form. But Maguire in his first 2 seasons was good. Maguire had a very poor season 2 seasons ago, and every other Man United player had a poor season. Last season, he was barely given an opportunity.
Yeah.
So he can look at this pre-season and say that this is my opportunity to come in.
So he should stay and fight.
He should stay and fight. He should go where? If you were him.
So West Ham are interested.
West Ham can't pay him. He should stay and fight. He's Man United's problem now, and they have to deal with it. And this is a reason, another reason I want him to stay and fight.
Yeah.
Man United have made too many poor signings, and United fans need to reach a point where they look at this team and look. You can't tell me that players just come to Man United and decide that we won't play well. How many signings have you made?
So you're saying that while Maguire is to blame for some of the stuff, the structure, the system, the situation at Man United hasn't helped him. It's not his fault entirely.
It hasn't helped anybody.
Yeah.
Since Ferguson left, Moyes, Fellaini failure.
Yeah.
Mata failure. He was doing blogs on Monday morning. He wasn't playing anything on the pitch. Victor Valdez failure. Daley Blind, okay. Marcos Rojo just getting injured and sliding on the floor. Red cards, failure. Ander Herrera, good signing. Luke Shaw, okay. Di Maria, failure. Falcao, failure. Romero, failure. Schweinsteiger, failure. You paid $8 million for Schweinsteiger. 6 months later, he went to holiday in America.
Yeah.
Chicago Fire, he and Rooney, they went there. Damian, failure. Memphis Depay, 30 million, failure. Morgan Schneider, 31 million, failure. Anthony Martial, now they say they should sack him, failure.
Where's the Ballon d'Or clause now?
Oh, Paul Pogba, success. Henrik Mkhitaryan, failure. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, success. Eric Bailly.
Those are Mourinho signings.
Eric Bailly is still a Manchester United player.
But those are Mourinho signings.
These are Mourinho signings.
Okay.
£30 million, failure. Nemanja Matic, okay. Lukaku, failure. Lindelof, Someway, Kova, failure. Alexis Sanchez, 30 million plus swap, failure.
Failure, big one.
Lee Grant.
Who is that?
Fred, failure. Dalot,
Fred is not a failure. Come on. He's still a Man United player. He played more games last season.
Fred cost Manchester United 61.2 million. What has he done? Has he
played? He's there.
Harry Maguire, currently a failure, but he will fight and become a success. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Someway, Dan James, failure. Igalo, failure. My point is, this is a list of how many players? About 30 players.
So it's not possible that they are all bad players.
It's not possible that they are all bad players.
I get it.
So change your ways. Maguire will stay and fight. He's not going anywhere. If I was Mrs. Maguire, I'll tell my husband to fight and set a good example for our children. We are not quitting. We'll stay in Man U and fight.
That's true. You're taking all of this. Right. I mean, Daniel seems a little bit, he's overreacting.
I'm overreacting.
Now he sided with Mrs. Maguire and this.
Okay, so the
what about the way United handled the decision itself?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the way United handled it.
Okay.
It's the fact
So there's no element of disrespect like people are suggesting?
No, there's none. I think it's the fact that Harry Maguire took it to Twitter to post it, right? Maybe the club could have discussed how we're going to bring the news to the whole world. So it could have been that there's going to be a release from the club. Maybe they also agreed Maguire could go on and post it on his handle. So that is where it started. And quite clearly, Maguire was very disappointed, as he said in his own tweet. So there was nothing wrong with it. And if you put yourself in the shoes of Erik ten Hag, you're thinking that you want your captain to be important to the team. And quite clearly, from all indications, Maguire is not important to his setup. Because last season, Harry Maguire started the first 2 games, they lost. And only from there, started 6 more games for the rest of the season. It wasn't as if he was injured throughout. He was just not getting paid. Yeah. And people say he's 4th choice. He's not 4th choice. He's 5th choice. Because it's Lisandro Martinez, it's Varane, it's Lindelof, it's Luke Shaw. Yeah. Right? Who's always going to be paid ahead of Harry Maguire as well. Okay. So quite clearly, the manager doesn't have plans for Harry, which is why he's taking the armband from him. So that he gives a player that is very much an integral part of the team that is going to be playing week in, week out. Because if the captain is not playing, there are roles the captain has to play. Yeah. If the captain is struggling with his game time and his own form, he can't inspire other players for some managers. And that's why I like the Sir Alex Ferguson style of picking captains. Okay. You could have a team for 3 years, and the player who was the captain in the first year is in the team in the second year, but a different player will captain. A different player will captain in that third year. So remember, the season before Man United won 2008, the Champions League, Vidic was Man United's captain. Yeah. But in the year they won the Champions League, even though Vidic played alongside Ferdinand in the final, Rio Ferdinand was the captain for the season. Because he had a team of leaders. So it didn't really matter who was in that armband. Even though you carried out a responsibility, everybody was a leader. They don't have those personalities in the side now. So somebody has to assume that role. About Harry Maguire leaving Man United, I think for his own career, it is good he leaves the club. Because next year is the Euros. If he's going to play at the Euros, I think that, you see, the World Cup was different because he had played the season before the World Cup. The season started for 2-3 months and they broke the league and went for the World Cup. So he still had credits in the bank. He cannot have the season he had this season with United, last season with United, the season coming, and think that maybe Gary Southgate will still give him the call-up or he'll be fit enough to play. So if he wants to go to the Euros next year, he has to consider that he has to leave.
He has to play.
He has to play.
If you don't play.
He absolutely has to play. And
at United, that's not guaranteed anymore.
He's not going to play at United. And the point is, Harry Maguire, he's worked so hard to go up the ladder, right? Came from Hull City, Leicester, to a big club, Man United. All of a sudden, he's going to 30 years and it looks like he has to drop down. And I don't think if he goes down to the mid-table clubs, maybe with all due respect to West Ham and other clubs, I don't think he comes back up. Because he doesn't have age on his side, doesn't look like more clubs would want him. And the Maguire problem is a Man United problem. And to wrap it all up, when Man United bought Maguire, they bought him for a coach who was going to use him in a way that he thrived in his previous club and for his country. At Leicester, they were a very counter-attacking team. So they will sit deep, have many bodies around Maguire. He can defend in that kind of scenario.
Putting body on the line.
Then they go on the counter attack. And that Ole, it's exactly what Ole did. The more reason why Rashford, Martial, Bruno, Greenwood scored a lot of goals because on the counter they were very good. Yeah. And when they set out the block, Maguire was decent. Ole brought in Dan James to do the similar thing as well because of his place for counter-attacking football.
Now the demands are different.
Now it is different because United want to be a bit more expansive. They want to keep the line higher. They want to play a lot more of the ball.
So they need defenders who are comfortable on the ball.
Defenders who are comfortable on the ball. Of course, I've got pace on recovery to track back, and all of that Maguire doesn't tick any of those boxes.
Interesting indeed. So Harry Maguire, the jury is out. I don't know what you think. Should he leave? Should he stay? Sicho thinks he should leave because there is no way he gets back in his team. Daniel says he's talking to Mrs. Maguire. Mrs. Maguire must tell the husband to stay and fight and show as an example to his children that you don't run away at the first sight of adversity.
You don't give up.
You stay and you fight. Interesting. Your thoughts are welcome. 0551 5757 57. The hashtag is Sportzone on Twitter. I'll read some messages. But let's run to some of the other transfers that we want to talk about. Jurriën Timber to Arsenal. Right back, centre back. He can play all across the field. What does that mean for Arsenal's team? They've signed him. They've also signed Declan Rice now. And that's all of a sudden, that Arsenal team is looking really, really strong. Where do these players take Arsenal from and then to?
Arsenal finished second last season.
They did.
They're in the Champions League for the first time in 6-7 years.
Yes.
This is clearly a team that wants to re-establish their elite status. And they're on the right path. The signings they've made this transfer window, I don't have a word for it. So, fantastic.
Let me give you a word for it. C'est magnifique.
Thank you. I won't say it, but yes.
C'est magnifique.
Look, when you look at the Jurien Timber signing, what hits me first of all is what happened to Arsenal when Saliba got injured.
Yeah.
Holding had to come in, and they maintained the system they were playing, and it didn't suit Holding's attributes, and it hurt the team in the long run. When you look at, and I said this thing, I think it was on Game Plan. Yeah. When you look at Jurien Timber, and you look at the job he does for Ajax, and you compare it to what Saliba was doing for Arsenal, they are, if not at par, or you can easily argue that Timber is slightly better or Saliba is slightly better. It's that close.
Yeah.
And for a team like Arsenal, a team that wants to win the league, a team that wants to win the Champions League,
that's the quality.
The quality has to run through. Nobody should be guaranteed to start. That's Manchester City. No Man City player goes into training from Monday to Friday knowing that they are going to start. No. So it's options. And it's options who can do very different things. Timber can play right back. He can play right wing back. He's strong. And I'm not even talking about positions. I'm talking about skill set.
Right centre back.
Look,
back
he's strong. He can drive. His ball progressiveness carries crazy. Very comfortable in the ball. He can pass. Very similar to Saliba. You can fit him and jot him around anywhere in the system and it will work. Yeah. Same as Declan Rice. Can play as a DM, can play as a box-to-box. Different things. And for Arteta, that is exactly what he wants. Because I'll give you a typical example. Last season's Man City versus Arsenal game at the Emirates. Yeah. The game was locked. Man City got a goal from a Tomiyasu mistake. Arsenal got a goal from a penalty. Nobody had tested the goalkeepers. They were literally just locked. They were passing the ball in the midfield. And then it got to a point where Pep turned back. He looks at his bench. He brings guys on. He can change his tactics and change his approach. Arteta looks on his bench and is Nketiah.
There's nobody.
What's Nketiah coming to do against Man City?
What about the elephant in the room? Out of all those signings, you take out Declan Rice, 105 million. The second most expensive signing there is Kai Havertz. And there's already a conversation, obviously, about where he's going to play. The Premier League somehow waded into that conversation and posted an image of three midfielders, Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Kai Havertz. And then they said, Arsenal's midfield this season. Then Darren Bent comes on Twitter and he says he doesn't think that Kai Havertz will play at all in this Arsenal team. Sicho, what are your thoughts on that? Is it a case of what Daniel said, that there is you need quality all around, competition, or he's a guaranteed starter somewhere in that team that we are just not seeing?
Well, I mean, listening to people who are very close to the club and people who are close to the signing, I think Mikel Arteta's first thinking about Kai Havertz is to incorporate him into that midfield of some sort, right? And so when you've got maybe a Thomas Partey or Jorginho and then Rice, it can provide the base and the platform for Kai Havertz to be free. Okay. It could be a double turn around Odegaard, and he's very fluid, Kai Havertz. He's not a static footballer where you're thinking he can only play in one sport, so he can be very fluid. And there are games where Arsenal might need that, because there are games that Arsenal see a lot of the ball. There are games where Arsenal will have to go into the game knowing that their opponent might just or as good as them in terms of ball retention, so they need a bit more physicality. So what Kai Havertz presents to Arsenal is an extra, if you like, dynamic in the team. Because there are games where if you throw in Kai Havertz alongside Odegaard and they've got Rice and Partey or Rice and Jorginho, that is brilliant midfield that can cause problems for some teams. There are games as well they are thinking that maybe you need extra bodies in there, so you could throw in maybe a Partey, a Rice, Jorginho to bring you stability, and maybe there's an Odegaard or something. So he's a good signing. And the point is, Arsenal needed enough quality in the side. Yeah. One thing that hurt them last season was that they had a very good 12, 13 players, after which not so much to work with. Yeah. Now they're looking at around 16, 18 players, all of whom are going to provide competition for one another.
At any given time.
And we talk about Timber coming in, there's Saliba, but there's also Tomiyasu, who is quality. He can play in multiple positions. There's Ben White, can be a centre back, can be a right back. So I think Arteta is molding the team. And I know that people are talking about Havertz because he's coming for a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's not played well for Chelsea since he got to the club. Everybody's wondering what kind of player he would be. But in the Arsenal team, with the way they are settled, they don't need Kai Havertz to even excel. Because they've got excelling blocks around him to help him. He's not going to carry Arsenal. He's going to play his part.
Interesting. All right. Your thoughts are still welcome. Sports Zone. The hashtag is Sports Zone on Twitter. And then on WhatsApp 0551 575757. Let me read a couple of messages here. And then we'll take a short break because we have more transfers to come. Who is joining Man United? Who is joining Arsenal? Who is joining... and even Ghanaian players. We have a segment for you. Ghanaian players who are on the move, the ones to keep an eye on. So that's still to come here on the show. But let me take the first batch of messages. Good evening, Mr. Fen. I'm Lampard from Zarangu, Kantia Boga East. Your analysis last week was on point, and thanks for painting every corner of the GFA, Mr. Ket, and their fake promises. Chelsea will shock the world. This team will shock the world with this young team. Okay, thanks once again for always keeping us updated. And he says, hashtag Fen to the world. Lampard is Zarangu. Thank you for your message. This message says, hi, good evening to you guys. Friends, should Chelsea have had a succession plan ready for Kante and Jorginho? Now Brighton knows we are in desperate need of Caicedo, and that is why they're doing us shiji. Can't we even get other players like Amrabat and Co? Tajuddin from Sawaba Tamale. We'll talk about Caicedo shortly. Good evening, guys. You are in my zone this evening. Ten Hag should just hand the captain armband to Kaz Pox sitting beside you, friend. That's from Muntala. Okay. Makafu in Kumasi says, Mali are a very good side, and I'm sure they will give Ghana tough games. Madagascar too is one of the countries that are playing very good football now. It's about time Ghana shows some character. They will have to sacrifice, and they will have to dedicate themselves as well. Thank you, Makafu, for that message. Fred Apia from Agona Swedru says, we are all disappointed with the decision from Ten Hag taking the captaincy from our very best Harry Maguire, but we will not leave the club. We will fight for our position until we regain our captaincy as well. All right, interesting. Miles Fosu Kwesi says, Ghana has no excuse whatsoever not to qualify to this World Cup. The interest is beyond just the World Cup. The economic impact for the USA, Canada, and Mexico to most Ghanaians looking for an exit have more interest than just the World Cup. They can just qualify and go and do their usual disappointing thing at the World Cup. It is for the streets, he says. All right. Ochiman of Achim Tafu says, hi guys, Ghana is going to find it very difficult to qualify with this caliber of players. Interesting. I'm Pizarro watching you live from Wale Wale, the vice president's hometown. Your sports is the best, but wait till I've not been seeing Coach Nimley in the program again. Why? You're watching a different program. That's the reason. Daniel and Sicho are here, and I'm here, so don't worry, okay? Good evening, guys. On Ghana's group, I think Ghana can make it through if certain players change their attitude. And on Harry Maguire, some of us will tell him as general captain, just as Ghana did to Asamoah Gyan. And Bruno will be the main captain. Interesting. Good evening. I'm Bedroom Pep Guardiola from La Paz. Your name is Bedroom Pep Guardiola. I don't know what that means. Tactician. Please tell the Black Stars to qualify for the World Cup 2026 so we all can go. If they don't qualify, we should dissolve the Black Stars team because we all want to go there and start a new life there, Canada and USA. Interesting. This one is from King Selassie from Denta Pantine. It says, Maguire came out with an essay for being stripped of the captain's armband. Average United players with self-entitlement be the problem. Interesting. More messages here. Good evening, friend. Gods of football have really given us a big smile. We couldn't have asked for a cheaper group. I'm saving this World Cup surely. Saving for this World Cup surely. Please tell the Black Stars players that they should not dare joke with our destiny. Bedroom Maestro from Nsawam. So, Bedroom Pep Guardiola and now Bedroom Maestro. Friend, good evening. I'm Manuel from Amasama. And the only teams I had wanted Ghana to face from the top 9 were Mali and Algeria. We can find our way with the other countries. All right. We'll talk more transfers. Where's Karim? I was expecting that he'd be here by now. But he's not. Clearly, he's late. The producer didn't tell him to come and stand here. Okay. All right. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take you to which Ghanaian players you should keep an eye on in this transfer window and who has gone where, because there's so much movement. If you're not careful, sometimes you miss them. Thankfully, we have Karim, who's been keeping a keen eye on every single one of them. We'll be back shortly.
Total late night entertainment experience. Turn up. Back-to-back hits on your screens. Turn up. Sing along. Turn up. Your request, just the way you want it. Turn up. Jam on a Friday night with your red cup. Catch the best late night entertainment experience on your screens every weekday from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Yo, what up? It's Mercury Quay, the Turn Up General, right here in the building. Catch me live on the Hot Pick Show, the hottest on the continent. You ready? Let's go. Just the way you want it. It's the Hot Picks Show. Tune in and turn up.
Welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. We're on the last leg of the show here. Let me just take a couple of messages from Twitter. Perlu says, our group should be an easy one if we play our cards well. They know us and they can be threatening when we up our game. However, it won't be easy with our current run, he says. This message is from, it's from Molyneux. And he says, even though Maguire has been stripped of the captaincy, he will still be the Capito General. And for once, I'm siding with Daniki. We, the Maguireans, will fight. That's a nice one. George Oko, Nation Builder. He says the Black Stars players must up their game to be able to qualify from the group because no team fears Ghana again, he says. All right. And this message also on Twitter, DJ Crucifix, he says, Ghana Black Stars should just dash all their points to save us the drama. The drama is unbearable. Thank you. Magnet, also on Twitter, says Ghana will qualify by the skin of their teeth. Very good there. And all right, so more messages here, but I'll read some of them shortly after Karim. Karim, you good?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You don't look it.
I am.
All right. Very briefly, Ghanaian players have been making a lot of movement. Who's been up to what? Where are they going?
Well, as you were discussing, a lot of moves have been happening for Ghanaian players abroad. Like we're doing for the performances during the season, we'll be doing that for the transfers as well until the season begins. So the first player that we'll be looking at is Ragnar Archie. He played on loan at Greuther Fürth in the Bundesliga 2, scored 7 goals for them, but has returned to his parent club, Frankfurt, after the end of the loan.
And Frankfurt is in the Bundesliga?
Yes.
So he's what? He's a striker?
He's a forward, an attacker. He can play basically multiple positions.
Okay. Your screen is frozen?
Yeah.
When I help him with his screen, we bake. It's not happening. Good, thank you.
Then we come to another German-born Ghanaian, Maurice Bonu-Kouaté, 25 years old. His career has been like on a high, progressing really well. He's like the typical kind of player you can compare to a player like Daniel Kofichire from the Bundesliga 2 last season. He scored 10 goals and he's gained a transfer to the Bundesliga now, Bochum. So he'll be playing in the Bundesliga. The fee for his transfer is 1.5 million euros and he signed a 4-year deal.
Okay.
So then another German-born Ghanaian, Patrick Pfeiffer, he has already officially switched his nationality to Ghana, but over a year now, he has not gotten a call-up. His contract with Darmstadt ended after the end of the season, and he's joined Augsburg on a free transfer for 4 years, scoring 4 goals last season as a defender. The height, a very good part of his game. Then Kingsley Schindler.
Yes,
his contract with Cologne has ended, and he now has Wakaso, they always describe his jobless now.
He's a free agent. He made his debut against Angola away from home.
After that, he's not gotten a call-up for the previous game against Madagascar. Then Ibrahim Sulemana, a youngster, only his first season with Hellas Verona, and after that, he's played only 17 games in the season and was very instrumental for them in their playoffs, relegation playoffs against Persia. They avoided relegation, but he decided...
So he's going to
join Cagliari, Claudio Ranieri and his team coming back to the season. He's joining them. Then Alexander Djuku, his contract ended with Strasbourg and he's joined Fenerbahce. It means he'll be playing in Europe for 3 years with an option to extend for another.
Okay.
Then we have Edmond Ado. This move was in the offing for more than a year now.
Yeah.
Finally, they always say, what is yours will always come your way. And that is what has happened for him. He's played one season, half a season for Sparta Subotica. Then he's joined Red Star Belgrade. He'll be playing with Osman Bukhari. Then there's transfer fee for 400,000 euros. Then we have Patrick Pozo. He passed some damning comments about this, the Moldovan league. He said he won't advise any player to join the league, and he knew that he was on his way out, so he signed for Baník Ostrava in the Czech Republic League, 2 years contract.
So he was playing in Moldova, decided that he's not good enough, so he's gone to Czech Republic. Good for him.
This one, dedication should wrap it up for.
Gavaraman is gone to PAOK in Greece.
Yes.
Finally left Chelsea after 8 years.
Seasons. So playing basically less than 20 games, I think.
Okay.
Signed a 3 years contract, and he's had... Then this guy is an interesting player, Christopher Barbonsu, 18 years old. Okay. He's joined this Salzburg in the Norwegian league from Shooting Stars. Lawrence has a very interesting article on him on my online. You can find it out. He's only played 12 games for Salzburg and scored a goal with 1 assist, and they are paying
5.2 million pounds for him.
So he's joining Joseph Pencil at Genk and 5 years contract.
Interesting.
Then Kojo Opoku, this guy, the MLS season is ongoing.
Mahala.
Yes, he's joined Montreal CF from Los Angeles FC for 1.6 million euros for 6 months with an option to extend at the end of the season. Then
Jojo Walcott,
the man will be wrapping up with he's joined Hibernian from Charlton Athletic in the Scottish League. He signed a 3 years deal with them. So basically,
Latif Blessing has gone to Toronto FC.
We'll be bringing all those updates as they transfer.
Thank you very much. Guys, we don't have a lot of time left, but I'll just ask you briefly. Caicedo to Chelsea, what's happening with that deal?
Chelsea need to quickly get him and get 2 other central midfielders because the team is too lean.
You saw the team going to America. It is so light.
My heart skipped a bit. And you see, the thing is that it's not like there are people at home who will join later. That's the squad.
Yeah. Oh, they say...
Reese. Only Reese.
No, I'm looking at central
Reese, but
my focus is on the midfield.
Midfield is complete.
Yeah, it's complete.
The midfield, there's not enough quality.
Only Enzo
Makes me wonder, where is the
They need 2 players.
Where's the 600 million? What did you like? When you look at the squad, it doesn't look like a 600 million squad. Nobody should tell me.
Exactly.
They were buying academy players. Because even for pre-season, the players between the under 21s and the senior team, all of them are on board to go and have pre-season at times called by the manager. And it doesn't look like a team that has spent anything around 500, 600 million.
Chelsea need to get him. Chelsea reportedly have submitted a bid of around 65 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons. And the player is valued reportedly around 100 million. But Chelsea believe, or people around the club believe that Chelsea can get a deal done for around 75 million pounds. So, like Daniel said, they need to get him and get him quick. Otherwise, the season could be a really long one. Let's switch briefly. Daniel, talk about tennis. Over the weekend, Novak Djokovic 24th was delayed.
Thank you.
It was delayed. I chose the right word before you attack me. It was delayed. But Carlos Alcaraz, you can't say he didn't deserve it.
Look, he's a brilliant boy.
Yeah.
Brilliant boy. And he's scary. He has everything. Literally, he has everything. And the scary thing is that Djokovic is on his last legs. Nadal will announce his retirement very soon because...
Yeah.
And when they go, you can just tell that Alcaraz is going to completely dominate everybody. He has everything in his game when it comes to actual tennis. And up here too, his mentality is crazy. Yeah. His defeat against Djokovic in the French Open, you could tell it was down to fitness issues. He had muscle problems and then it completely spoiled the game. But this was top class. But again, you can also flip it. Djokovic is 36.
Yeah.
He's 36 and he's given
He's
this
16 years older.
Yeah.
and he's given this 20-year-old a run for his money. A 20-year-old who's been likened to Nadal. He's literally a right-handed Nadal.
Yeah.
If you watch
In fact,
Nadal,
Novak Djokovic
back in
said
the day.
he has the games of all three of them.
And
together.
Yeah. That's
there's something
strong
about
words.
Him. Yeah, the scary thing about when I saw him play first on grass, I thought, I'm not too sure he will make it on grass.
Yeah.
Because his movement on, when you see the clay courts and the grass, it's
made for him,
different because
Yeah.
on clay you can slide because it's
Slippery.
It's the clay. On grass, movement can be a bit limited because you want to be careful. Hard court as well. When I first saw his movement on grass, I thought, I'm not too sure. I thought it was going to be another Nadal who doesn't have the best of tournaments at the Wimbledon because of grass. But he played in Queens before Wimbledon. And when I watched him playing in Queens, I was like, hang on a minute, we are in trouble.
We are in trouble.
And that was the trouble for Djoko.
Okay. Well, the World Championships will start on August 19. And so far, the biggest conversation is around the women's 100-meter finals. Over the weekend, there was a showdown between America's Sha'Carri Richardson and, of course, Shericka Jackson of Jamaica in the Silesia Diamond League in Poland. And indeed, it was Shericka Jackson who found herself in a bit of trouble